waiting for my guests there, Mac. They're MIA. I mean, my co-hosts, Anna and Mike, but they both know. Guzzling down coffee. That'll be. Anna just hopped on to Zoom. We're good. Hey, Anna.
Hello.
You're good.
Okay, good. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Mike is not here yet.
Nope.
And I thought I was late. Yeah.
You're late. I'm exhausted, so we're in good shape. Woohoo!
Okay. And I'm unprepped, so
Okay.
here we go.
No, they don't know. They know it's tonight, Mac, because I put in. We have a special Discord. And I was like, well, we're going with the gods one, and then that was, I don't know, what was that, Saturday or Sunday? It was either Saturday or Sunday morning.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah.
And Mike goes, "Oh, I forgot it was Monday," but he forgot back then. What's up, Mike? Disney. So we're good. Awesome. How'd you guys like the show last night, Mac and Mike?
I
Disney?
hope they loved it because I had so much fun.
Yeah, it was awesome, wasn't it? Hey, Hager. Yeah, short races. I got some tangents, a couple minor tangents you can go off. Thanks, Mike. Hey, cool, good to see you. Yeah, my son graduates. His graduation ceremony is Wednesday night.
And I might have to pop out 5 or 10 minutes early because I have to. So I go to a meeting. I have to be at 8, so I have to pop
That's
out a few minutes
cool.
early. Yeah,
That's not a problem. Everyone's gonna be excited about the fancy mapping show topic title.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we have more lined up where that comes. So
Yeah.
There's more cool fantasy mapping, but let's save that one to Friday. So yeah.
Yep.
We can talk about that. And there's some cool. I have cool stuff. I know Alyssa has cool stuff, and most of it is actually related to something we all love. So
Yeah.
that will be fun.
Hey, Dave, Bloodwild, good to see you all. That cool? Awesome.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. The giveaway Thursday night is Gamescape, and then tonight I'm going to do a classic D&D reprint giveaway. Got everyone who's on, just letting you know. I got out all the stuff from the weekend today when I got back from traveling, running around. So everyone's stuff that won something on Saturday night or Sunday night, they all went out, which is cool. So. How you doing, Mike?
Good to hear.
Mac, you know I have no problem talking to all, but all sometimes just doesn't like to be a team player there. I'm trying to be nice. Doesn't like, you know? I'm more than happy to, have him, but it's got to reach out. He can reach out too. That'd be awesome. Be good. If he's got he's got monster deities out. He's done up too. That would be really neat. I'd love to see that. It'd be really, really cool. What button am I hitting now? This one. Good job, Tino. Look at that. Everyone's bored tonight. I'm chewing on a sweet tart, by the way. If anyone hears me chewing, I'm sorry. What a mix! I'm eating the sweet tarts, and I'm drinking French vanilla coffee with that mix. So What's Mac? What's all doing for Spelljammer Con? I know Josh put that together. Spelljammer Con is coming, isn't it? It's got to be. He's got to. You know, you see the flagship. It's got to be the flagship stream, right? For that. That'd be awesome. Love to see him do that. Yes, me on a Monday, not Wednesday. Schedule this week. Monday, Thursday normal, fantasy mapping show Friday. Then I'm gone for over a week. So, withdrawal. That'd be cool. Thursday night's giveaways Gamescape. We're going to definitely give away another Elven Fortress. I got it on the table. Cool. Thanks for that link. One of the funniest things that happened last night, well, minor amusement, was, hey, Jim, look what's up on the screen. We're running Starship Water. And he's like, that looks familiar. Cool. I'm bookmarking this. That's great. It's pretty nice there. Monster Mythology update. Very cool. Acid Burn Punk. Nice. Very good. Apparently, if you notice, the cheer totals was really, man, hammering the Slav squatters on Saturday night. That was pretty funny. Those non-special hero points there, anti-hero points. That was a blast. Yeah, I was. Who asked that? Did Anna, you ask that, or did Jim? Who asked about the hardback books when they went? Was that your question, Anna?
No, it was not mine. I was going to ask a similar question, but not really that one. I think it was Jim that initiated it. It was a follow up. When he had someone asked him some other question and he filled in and started talking about it. Or maybe it was, hang on, Jeff Grubb maybe asked that outright. I'm not sure if it was a follow up. It was a follow up to a question from Jeff, but I'm not sure if it was the direct question from Jeff or if it was just a follow up that Jim filled in. I forgot which. That probably someone in the audience probably remember that detail more than I did.
My son's got school graduation Wednesday night. So, and just remember, next week completely off. So, I think Spelljammer Con's on Warhorn already. I mean, Josh has told me to promote it there, Max. So, just note that. He told me to go ahead and promote it. So I did. I talked about it. I even told Jeff Grubb the other night. So, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, I get thrown out of my house if I didn't show up for my son's graduation event. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we got our lines crossed then, man. Because I'm just saying, Mac. Josh asked me to promote it immediately. So just note that. I don't want to do anything off, but trying to assist there. Yeah, well, we'll have a big box set, hopefully. Well, I should say hopefully we will have a big box set. Amongst all the other projects, that's a priority one. Everyone's doing well here. I'm going to come live shortly here. So we'll come 3 minutes. We're coming 3 minutes early tonight. How's that sound? Charles Oscar Kane. Nice. COC. Alrighty. We did some other deities, Underdark deities last week, so we're going to keep this rolling here with the gods of the Dwarves, Gnomes, and Halflings. So, Chuck Baboonsky in the house. Hope
Hello.
you're doing all right, Chuck. Well, okay's better than not good, so I'm glad to hear that. So, dude, would you fall on the steps? Oh, dude. You ever hear of those like bumpy things in the shower, man? You put in there. Put those...
Exactly. You have to have no skin in
We're going surface this time. We're gonna go. This is gonna be a surface discussion. If we have time, maybe we'll throw them back in. But we kind of got them. Kind of got the Underdark last week. So.
Well, gnomes and dwarfs have a tendency of sticking underground occasionally, or dipping under their toes in.
Well, they have a really evil under the ground deity, don't they? Hey, Bat.
Yeah.
No sip sour, Matt. 7:57. I apologize if I'm sucking on a sweet tart here. I'm just trying to get my there. Now I got there. Perfect. Fill that up. You guys came on after I went promo. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I'm J.K. Lord Gazumba. Haven't seen you all in a long time. Anna and I haven't. No, last night.
Yep.
We got Mike, Anna, and me for our last Legends and Lore for over 2 weeks. So enjoy it, please, because I'll be gone all next week. So the whole next week, and then we'll be back on Wednesday. So let me see if I think I programmed this in. Yep, Wednesday, June 29th will be the next Legends of Lore after this. So it'll be more than 2 weeks.
That will give us a little bit of time to figure out what we're going to have for topic.
Yes, plenty of time. Plenty of time for you all. Well, I'll be relaxing down in Florida.
We need to engage your brain in this too, so don't go on vacation completely.
But if you didn't catch last night, wow, that was crazy. It was awesome. Really appreciated all the great guests we had. Ed, Anna, and I talked for about a half hour afterwards.
Well, I barely said anything because I didn't have to. There was so much awesome stuff happening anyway, so I definitely didn't want to ruin anything.
Oh, yeah, come on, Anna. But, you let it roll. You knew when to let things roll. Now, I had questions I wanted to get in, and I got them all in.
I got them all in, too. I didn't even ask them. Ed just opened it up by answering all my questions, and that was it. So that was awesome. Yeah.
And we could all see that we, Jim had a little curmudgeon-y about him, but Jeff was very smooth over. He was the smooth over guy.
Very diplomatic about that. Yep.
Yeah, it was very cool. So, all right. Once again, there's a question that comes up all the time, and it makes sense, really, why. The demi-human deities cross over realms a lot, whereas the other human deities don't, right? And why is that?
I have a theory.
Okay.
And that especially when it comes to Greyhawk, but I think the other realms have some of that too. And it's that the realm, all the different settings, especially Greyhawk, are by design very human-centric. And I think that especially goes for Greyhawk. So that means that the humans got a special treatment. Originally, they were seen as the kind of the mainstay of the setting, and they got a lot of stuff. And the other ones are kind of they don't have the same uniqueness in the sense that they were heavily borrowed from, I mean, elves were borrowed from Tolkien, dwarves were borrowed from Tolkien, not wholesale, but heavily inspired, not borrowed, inspired by Tolkien. And in Greyhawk, they are kind of second-class citizens when it comes to the amount of detail they've been given, the amount of love and development, I would say is probably the right word. They haven't been developed to the same degree as the human cultures and gods and history and stuff. We know 2, 3, 4 times more about the humans than we do about the elves. And then the dwarfs are after that. And then the halflings and the gnomes, we don't know much about their culture at all, except for a few things that I think we can kind of get tidbits in. But those are kind of sidestep. Will be interesting. We'll have to have that discussion with Ed and see if that's the same in the realms or not. But my thinking is that it's probably a little bit the same situation. Maybe it's not as much of a difference, but it's a bit of the same.
So 1 second, Anna. Anonson's on now if you want to talk to him about Friday.
Uh-oh.
Right? Because we're a fantasy mapping show.
Yeah.
we got to, just...
Yeah, we have an announcement about a future fantasy mapping show. That
right, but what, yeah, this
awesome.
So this Friday, just so I'm going to throw this out there right off the bat, it's going to be on Mapping Greyhawk.
Yes.
Because...
Yep.
It just is, because they couldn't get any guests. And,
we had guests that I was hoping to come, but they haven't responded to me yet.
But so I'm saying we didn't even ask Eric Anonson, and he's on now.
Oh, then we.
That's what I'm saying. You may want to on Friday.
Eric, we order you to come on Friday. So we had other guests lined up, but that didn't go through. So I was like, "What the heck? This will be a perfect episode." So please, Eric, come on.
Yeah, Eric, you might want to talk to Anna and Alyssa, please, and if you want to hop on at any point, if you're able to, it's not a big deal. We can always do it another time. So, yeah, Doc, good point. It's amazing that Jeff Grubb hired Ed. Yes, it is, and that's and Kat, it's good to see you on as we're rolling. We got a whole bunch of people on tonight. Thank you. Sorry about the night. Just know one more time, my son is graduating his school on Wednesday night, and the ceremony's then. So I'd rather, like I said, I'd rather have it tonight than cancel. So and we got a nice discussion tonight. My thoughts, and Mike, see if you agree with this, because Jeff Grubb kind of let this out last night. Laziness. Hey, we got all these deities already. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We want to tell stories in our setting. So I think that was what, and I think that's more of what happened. I could be wrong, but I think.
But you see, that's an example of me overthinking. So you and Jeff are probably very right in this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea there, Mac. Maybe we'll ask Troy to come on a little bit too on Friday. But I don't know if he wants to share that stuff yet. I don't know if he wants to share that the C mapping yet. He may not want to do that yet. I think once he releases it, he'd want to come on. So yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Came on for that. Jim and Jeff follow, did excellent content. Well, thank you so very much, Meg Kim. We're going to keep it rolling here. Legends Lore is usually every Wednesday night. It's been on Mondays like a couple times this month just because of my son's school stuff. So understood. Normally it's not on this night, but really, really appreciate it. All right. So there's a couple places you can go. Oh, Mike, what are your thoughts on that, by the way? Laziness?
Probably, because if Moradin and Yandala are on every world and Paylor is only on one world, that means they're more powerful than him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there are fewer halflings. There are probably more humans if you count on all the different worlds. So, but yeah, but that's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever it is, these deities are Greyhawk deities. That's what they're they weren't really made for Forgotten Realms. They were made for the Greyhawk setting when I look at them. And Roger Moore did a lot of these. Now, with the exception of here we go. I'm going to hit the wrong button, probably. With the exception of a couple of these, and once again, you always have to go back to a beginning point, and that is, of course, Jim Ward's Deities and Demigods, right? So, and your Deities and Demigods. We found out he did most of these. Now, he didn't do Corel and Larethian because I asked him that 2 years ago, if I recall. But a lot of these non-human deities, he didn't do Loth either. But non-human. Let me roll down here. A1, so it's next. Oh. They never removed Nawan deities because they always had the rights to them, if I remember. It was Melnibonian and Cthulhu they had to remove, correct?
Yeah, because it seems like Gary has had a good relations with Fritz Lieber, so
yeah,
that seems to have worked.
So when we get down here, we start off the big deal. And it's up to you, man. You don't have to reschedule. Seriously, we can fit you in another time in the future. Please,
Oh yeah,
gaming
we can
comes
dedicate.
first.
Yeah, exactly. We can do a whole episode just to talk about your maps.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So it's
that would
okay.
work
Or if you can come
greatly.
on whatever time, if you can come on for 15 minutes, even that would be cool. So hey,
Yeah.
Patrick. All right, so Dwarves, Gnomes, and Halflings we're going to concentrate on. So you got Moradin the Soul Forger, main deity of the Dwarves, right? He is lawful good in alignment, planes of seven heavens. I love how he has reason he has druidic ability, cleric druid, magic user, fighter. They load them all up here, all the gods, and it says Moradin's the head of a fairly large pantheon of dwarven deities. And it says he created the race of dwarves from iron and mithril, forging them in the fires of the center of the world. So, this is a weird rhetorical question? Did the Middle Earth dwarves have gods, or do they just have ancestors?
Exactly. They don't seem to have much in the form of what we normally see as priesthoods and stuff.
Right.
Religion works different in Middle Earth than it does in Greyhawk and I think Forgotten Realms and stuff, where you have gods and priesthoods and stuff. But I guess it also depends on how you run the gods. If you run them more kind of spirits that are present in a way, but I'm certainly not an expert on Tolkien's world, so other people know that 1,000,000 times more than I do. So yeah.
So out of dwarven specialty priests, I have 2 written up, and let's say I have 3, and then I have 1 that I'm working on for our new group of Narwhal headhunters coming up. So I do. Moradin's one of the ones I have, and it's a pretty good. The dwarven specialty priests tend to be really good because they're combat based and they got fire spells sometimes, so it's pretty neat. Yeah, Jim Warner has a rant about it on Facebook once a year. So, Mike, were you a dwarf? Did you play a lot of dwarves or
No?
no?
I can hold in my hand how many dwarven characters we've had over the years.
How about gnomes or halflings?
A lot more.
Okay. Wow. All right.
But again, nothing to really sneeze at.
So it's like certain people, like Mike Disney, almost exclusively Mike plays dwarves because he loves dwarves. But then I guess it's an acquired taste on the dwarf. Playing it. I guess I don't know.
More dwarves in Warhammer than Greyhawk by far.
Okay. Yeah, if you play, sorry to digress, but you play dwarves in Blood Bowl with the tackle ability. They're nasty.
Yeah,
because you can't dodge away from them. Oh man, yeah,
that's the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so Moradin's a pretty powerful deity with a lot of abilities. Yeah, and from that, the worshippers in my Greyhawk note I pull out from the Demi-Human Deities book, which I don't have this scrolling through, and maybe I should in that case, because it is a base of spells that Eric Boyd did, but I mean they work well. And they get some unique spells like Stonefire is in there, and a couple others. Soulforge. What's that?
Soulforge.
Yeah.
No, I've never had that book.
Really? It's a good one to get, just because the perspective on and a lot of there's way more than there is in Monster Mythology, and there's much more detail in it. Because Monster Mythology has a lot of here's the god and here's all the notations after it, but it doesn't have like unique spells. That's why I love that book so much. All the really cool unique spells that they did. So hey, Rip Artist, good to see you. Farquhar, good to see you too. Oh my gosh, everyone here. So classic D&D reprint giveaway tonight. How could I forget? Because my brain is still. It was a long day. sometimes, and all things from over the weekend went out, so good to know. Get your choice of Treasures of Greyhawk and Roger Moore's Greyhawk The Adventure Begins, and a module. If you have any of them, I'll make it work so you get 2 that you don't have. Okay, no problem. So,
hang on a second. We have one when it comes to the dwarfs, and to some degree elves, but I'm going to disregard that for a moment. We have something that is very special. Greyhawk. We have a crossover god that is both both human and dwarven, and that's Ula.
Yeah, that's one of the 3 I have.
Yeah,
so,
which is really cool, because I really like that idea that you have a crossover god. The elves, then you have the Elonna is the same kind of crossover between elves and humans.
Let's go to that.
And I really dig that as a Greyhawk feature, so to speak.
It's a good deity, and here's a sad note of me and my crew. We had not a single character worshiping Ula with 2,000 some characters until about 5 years ago.
Okay. That's
We're deities. Deities are up front, aren't they?
Ula's a greater god.
Ula's a greater god too, and So I'm sorry, everyone. You can tell in my brain. They're up front, aren't they?
In 3rd edition in Living Ground campaign, she's an intermediate goddess. Ula.
Wow.
And she's a goddess too. I'm not sure if she was.
Let me take a look.
Had a gender change between 1st and
well,
3rd edition.
we can here it is. Ula. Really? Does it say in here? Major deity. Yep.
So we kind of went down in hierarchy a bit between 1st and,
we'll get
3rd edition. Yeah,
we'll definitely get to Dumathian too. All of them. We have time to get all of them. Trust me here. So I have Ula done as a specialty priest as well, and it's gnome too. It's dwarf, gnome, and human.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Mountains, gems, patrons of miners, hillmen, mountaineers, and quarrymen. She also has a large following on demi-humans, particularly dwarves, gnomes, and halflings.
Okay, then we cross almost every.
You got them all covered here.
Yeah.
Shrines, temples, and chapels dedicated to Ula are scattered throughout the Flannis. Surface to Ula include displays of earth and gemstones. See, here's the question. I tried so hard last night to get, and I guess maybe Jim just doesn't even know. He knows what he wrote. I always wanted to know who did that, who did this, who did that, who did the tensor spells. I tried. But in that book,
it was probably edited, and
it was a mess.
Some person came with the idea, some other wrote it, some 3rd person edited, and then it's kind of hard to remember. And then it's 28 years afterwards. So yeah.
So Ula's a cool deity and fairly powerful as well. And let me see here. Ula. That was done up. Marco actually had a specialty priestess of Ula there, Anna.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. 4th level dig once per day, and 8. Wizard 4. 7th level pass wall, Wizard 5 once per day. Stone to flesh at 10th level once per day. Pretty good. Yeah. And they have a special enemy race they get 2, and they start that at first, kind of like Rangers do. So, yeah. And they use club, flail, hammer, staff, military pick, sling, warhammer. So, yeah. The god of the earth, goddess of the earth. So, Ula has a hammer of thunderbolts. So, that's a neat one. Good pickup there, Anna. Yeah, it's one of the 3 ones I have in Dwarves as specialty priests.
Yeah.
So
a really cool Greyhawk flair to them. I think that kind of. I don't think they have crossover. I don't think they made it over to other settings. They stayed Greyhawk. They were designed for Greyhawk from the beginning and seem to have stayed that
redundancy
way.
In case you didn't own any of the other books that expanded on demi-human deities.
Well,
yeah.
If you want your and this is what I would recommend. If you want all your demi-human deities for Greyhawk, they're all here.
Yeah, and also get this book.
Yeah.
God, because the demi-humans are in here too. They're classified as monsters in this one, but they're here with the humanoids and the underdarks, and this is a gem of a book.
It is. It's fantastic.
Greyhawk stuff. It doesn't come with the Greyhawk logo, but it is full of Greyhawk stuff. So it's fantastic.
Both are very good. And we had Roger Moore and we
Which
talked about a
issue
lot of
is
these.
that?
Yeah.
What's that?
Curtis wants to know what issue that is.
Which best of 3? The one I give out every 1,000 followers.
Yep.
Yes, I've given out 8 of these.
The golden one. Yeah.
Yes.
I think there was a silver and the gold. And
the silver's
and
4, yeah, and
yeah.
the gold's 5, yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, 3's the best one by far, because when you get here, you got the Dwarven point of view, and then you got in, here Gods of the Dwarves, and here comes Beyond Moradin. All right, and this is pre-Ula too, out of the books. This is
Rip Art this is Monster Mythology,
second edition.
Yeah, second edition, DMGR4. It's available at PDF on drive-through.
Yeah, because that condition of a blue book is going to cost you $100.
Oh yeah,
minimum.
These were rare. They were not printed that
yeah.
many, and they were not sold. They sold out fairly quickly. And
you can't find Best of Dragon. Just look for Dragon magazines 58 through 61.
Yep, absolutely. But I have 10 of these. Trust me, you can find them for under $20. You can't. The Best of Dragon Volume 3, yeah.
So
pretty
check
easily.
eBay every week or so.
Well, yeah, because I'm always looking for deals. I got one. I got one for like $7 just recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's just So it's not only missing of Ships in Sea. Hey, I got a ship. You know what? But why would you have of Ships in Sea? Just buy Ghost of Saltmarsh. Then you have it. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have Ships in the Sea. What do you call it?
It's the appendix.
Appendix in the back is that book, just in 5th edition. All right, so Moradin, head of the Pantheon, and then you got 5 others. So counting Ulat, you got a Pantheon of 7, which is it's pretty nice size. Pantheon. The other one, and let's see what kind of order we have here. The other one I have as a specialty priest is the most popular of all the Dwarven gods in my game, and that's Clangeddin Silverbeard, of course, the god of battle.
Yeah.
So, and he is. Those priests are nasty specialty priests because they get an Axe Storm of Clangeddin spell. Is something cool that's in there, and that gives them an extra attack. Now, ups their attack rate. So, for example, if they were 3 every 2, they become 2 every 1. And anyone who's a worshiper of Clangeddin gets it. So if you got a whole group of dwarves together, cast Axe Storm or Clangeddin. So also, I'm hoping that I can find what dragon this is. This is Dragon Annual 1998. Does anyone know what number that is?
1998. No.
The Dragon Annual for 1998. All right, so Ironbeard, they got Silverbeard, and they got some other great spells too. So this article is in Dragon Annual 98. All right, it's got some really great dwarf spells, and I use them in my campaign. All right, it's called the Prayers of Stromp and Neville.
Ooh, Dragon 98.
Dragon Annual for 1998. Yes. Who wrote this? Lauren Coleman. So, Stromp's Dwarven Cleaver, Shatter Metal, Ignore Late Wounds, a big spell in my game. Mud in Your Eye, Dwarven Zeal is another big spell I use. So, it's a great article. Earth Fist is cool. That's 5th level. Dragon Annual 3. Thank you, Bloodwild. Awesome. So, that's where you get this article if you want to enhance your dwarves. And then if you're in 5th edition, just convert them, right? But it's a cool one, and it goes right in my binder here for my Clangeddin, all those spells I use for Clangeddin. And then you also have your Monster Mythology / Eric Boyd one, and that's where you have Silverbeard Rockburst, and Axe Storm of Clangeddin. And that's on page 53 in Eric's one. So, Clangeddin, it says bald and Silverbeard lies in the vast mountain fortress named by manned by the souls of his finest dwarven warriors. So he's lawful neutral, it says. Okay, so here's what I've done campaign wise for Greyhawk, with that little caveat. He's the main god worshipped in the Principality Ulic over
Oh.
Moradin.
Okay.
Because once again, I always went back to that. Why is the Prince of Ulic a thief? And my unnamed 1980, Mike. Why is my unnamed Prince of Ulic a thief? So right.
Steals all the money.
Hey, Games Tavern, good to see you. Exactly. So and specifically in this, it says all alignments, especially warriors. I always see that's a warrior culture, and I see the Lord Mill Mountain Dwarves in my game more than worshippers more because, and that doesn't mean you can't be lawful good and worship Clangeddon, but I see Hill Dwarves are Clangeddon in that area, Mountain Dwarves are Moradin for the mining, forging, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's a little more of a conflict between the lawful neutral aspected dwarves in my game from the Principality Ulic that don't like the Knight Order of Ulic and the Lord Mill Mountain Dwarves like Mike Disney's Dwarf and some others, right? And that's the difference right there. Does that make sense? That's just what I had
cool
thought.
that you start digging into different cultures, because I see the hills and the mountain dwarves not as physical difference, but more kind of cultural difference.
Yeah.
I think Dumathoin is the god of mountain dwarves.
The secrets under the mountains, though, right?
Oh,
Yes. So we're gonna get to him. That's a great one there.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. Let me scroll down. He's next. He's true neutral. Dumathion, keeper of secrets under the mountain. So, oh, that's cool. Thanks, Mac. I did not know that. I'm gonna check that out.
oh,
When did when did Chris Pramus do that?
that they are not that old.
Oh, cool.
I think, yeah.
We should have him back on too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's time to do it. So with Jeff Grubb and James Ward, and we don't count Ed because Ed's on once every 6 weeks at either on a talk show or in a game, maybe even less than that, right? That's the second time around for both them, and so yeah, pretty neat there from last night. There we go. Please, everyone, give Games Tavern a follow.
Mm-hmm. He did a whole series. They're like orcs and
that's
and
cool.
Dwarves and
I'll check
various
that out.
elves and stuff. Yeah, I should definitely.
So it says here, Dumathion is said to hide the secrets of the earth until they are ready to be uncovered by the diligent and the deserving. You better be deserving. So lays veins of iron, copper, gold, silver, and mithril where he feels they do the most benefit. I see him as a niche. Yeah. Yeah, as the secret one where you got to find, what was it? The Arkenstone. He's hiding the Arkenstone.
Right.
Yeah. So, or whatever it may be, and so I want to ask the audience this: two questions about your dwarves. Do you have really great custom dwarven forged weapons in your game that are unique, and do you have like special gems or things that dwarves are seeking to find? Because I think it's a great way to go in the game. It's a great little side.
I haven't dived deep enough into dwarven culture for that, but I think those are great ideas. So
I have the Varnafine weapons taken from right. I have the axes.
I want to have
6
all
axes
sorts of stuff like that, but
Yeah.
but I haven't. It's like,
And that's
my
an Earth Journal, everyone.
yeah, my next dip will be elves first, and then dwarves. I think because elves are dear.
Elves are real
I have
dear
more
to
to
you.
start with, but I definitely think that each of the demi-humans need to dive into cool stuff like that, different types of unique weapons and stuff. And that was one of the things that Pathfinder was good at. They had different elven, dwarven, and gnomish weapons and stuff that had cool effects and so on. So I definitely want to integrate them, steal them from Pathfinder and put them in my advanced 5e game. Yeah.
My current campaign has Whelm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And none of the players are dwarves, so they gave it to an NPC dwarf to tote around. So that's been interesting.
Yeah,
it's just a good way to go because the last thing you want is everything to be human centric, especially in Greyhawk. It shouldn't be, and sometimes dwarves get kind of overlooked. It just depends on where you are, right, in your campaign, but Patrick, Patrick, weren't we gonna do something special this month? But I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. I
Well,
I
appreciate
hope I'm
that.
update
You
on my
remind me.
subscription. Otherwise, or otherwise, my
Yes,
Patrick
you
might
get
get
patricized
exactly.
is the right term,
Yep.
I guess now,
Mhm.
which is
Yep.
not a bad thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mike, were you gonna have another comment on that?
No, actually, I was going to comment that these dwarves in Roger's articles are all like 17 feet tall plus.
That's really interesting, isn't it?
But yeah, but there
they're,
seemed to have been
they're
some sort of
giants.
exactly. There
Oops.
seemed to have been some sort of connection between giants and dwarfs in some ways. They resemble each other, except for how tall they are.
So I was meaning to look that up. I was going to see what Moradin is.
This is the location of the legendary axes of Varnafine and this is in published source, just so you're aware. Published
Yeah.
source there, right north south of Mastrine, near
Yeah.
Narwhal.
Wa-
4 of them have
was-
been located in my game out of the 6.
Yeah.
2 of
Was
them
it
have
that
not been.
from the Ashes
From the Ashes,
edition?
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just 2 paragraphs, but I expanded
Yeah.
on it greatly. So
Yeah,
Moradin's 20 feet tall.
ooh.
yeah, they're all huge. All the dwarves are
So
huge.
all the dwarves
Yeah.
are giants.
Hey Vamp, good to see you,
It's
man.
awesome.
Yeah, and who knows why? Who knows? That's a good
Yeah.
question. Maybe, well, he did say he wanted to come back. Maybe we'll ask him why are the dwarves so huge?
Yeah.
Yeah, 18 feet.
But
Well,
just to give-
Abathor's only 8, so
well, hey, but all rest assured, all the halfling and gnome gods are sized to their worshippers.
it's an interesting observation. Thank you, Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting. I thought we had crystal shards that would boosted. The shards were rare, and there would be 200. See, that's a good idea, man. Enhancing weapons is always a great idea. All right, so there's Dumathion. Abathor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Great Master of Greed. There we go.
So as I'm reading these old articles, I was picking out fun little factoids that Roger would put in there, and Abathor's was a good one. It says that there's a 40% chance he will steal anything he sees that is 1,000 gold pieces or more value.
Yeah, here it is. That is
So
awesome.
I can only imagine that. You walk.
It says, or slay the
hide all your
owner.
money, hide all your magic items, or you go talk to Abathor.
Or slay the owner and take it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, if you ever come across him, you're probably you're going to be hiding everything.
Yeah.
So.
But it's the legendary dwarven greed that Gary, I guess, in the Gord books, when Gord wants to have he's looking at daggers and then or something, you're looking at treasure from a dwarf that is starting to sell something, and he shows his cool dagger and or something, and the dwarf opens the eye, kind of looks at it greedily, and Gord is so like, damn, I showed it to a dwarf.
Yeah, so Megcam, this is a PDF of that. And for example, I have a PDF of Greyhawk Adventures, and a PDF of Deities and Demigods. And then from that, I just put it in, embedded into, I'm showing my second monitor, which is right over here, putting that into my XSplit broadcaster. Boom. The wonders of that, it took me a couple of years to figure this all out, but yeah, and it works pretty well. So, and that's a great thing. I don't think these PDFs are available online for sale of Best of Dragon Volume 3, but I know you can get the hardback book really inexpensively. I know that, or you can it's Dragon 58. 59 and 61, correct? Because 60 is elves. So 58, 59, 60, 61. 62 is half-orcs. And then 63 is other humanoids in the Roger Moore series of. But if you want, that's why Best of the Dragons, one of the best publications ever, because you can get it all right here, including Lenikofka's Archer class, a great NPC class, the Wing Folk are in here. There's all sorts of great, the Wing Folk are in here. Al-Karakilam. There's a lot of great things in it. So that's what I suggest, getting a hard copy of that. So All right. So Abathor also says here, which I like this. He became embittered when Moradin appointed Dumathion the protector of the mountain dwarves instead of himself, and from that day forward has become ever more devious and self-serving in his endeavors. So he's kind of very jealous. And he is evil. He is neutral evil. He is evil through and through. Got a high-level assassin ability, too. So, yeah,
And
an old school.
like in the last show on Underdark, I'm pretty sure I read that Carl Sargent added Laduger as the god of the Durgar when it should have been Abathor originally. But,
Yeah.
hey.
I don't have a single. So I remember I had someone dwarf worshipping Dumathion wasn't a priest. I don't ever remember having a PC ever worship Abathor. I can't remember that. So, no. Now I love this, and these get thrown in here occasionally. Here's a monster for you that I use a lot, and it's only here. I don't think it's anywhere else. The Rapper, the undead dwarf, is in here too. Yes, a Rapper is the undead form of an evil dwarven thief or assassin who died in an attempt to steal something. It says number appearing 1 to 4. So, hey, you can put as many rappers as you want in there, and they could sing songs and stuff. I'm kidding. Appear to be pale-skinned dwarves with semi-translucent skin, dressed in rags and carrying weapons or mining tools. They can go visible twice a day for 6 turns, but will become visible when physically attacking. So, yeah, they're going to wait on you and try and steal your stuff or kill you. So, they're turned as whites. So, that's a little neat monster to add into your Greyhawk game there. And they're all through here. Isn't Mike? Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the humanoid one, the Shishuva's in there too, right? The evil spirit of
I don't remember that.
Yeah, the evil spirit of the hyena, a knoll. Yeah, that's another one that's in yeah, it's in the humanoid one, which is like number 63 or 64.
Oh, the humanoid one.
Yeah, humanoid, the Shishuva, which is
that sounds right.
an undead hyena knoll. That's another good one. So, in your games, how much does the gods actually come to play? All right, good question. So, no.
They just no.
They don't.
Not at all. Never.
Not in my. So in my game, I've had a god actually appear in an adventure where it's called for a particular temple of elemental evil. But they pray to gods, they get the god abilities, but the gods are not. Forgotten Realms has a lot more activity with gods. Greyhawk. Well, yeah, blood, but I know, but Ralshes has never appeared. Even though Eric Mona tries, Ralshes has never appeared. Now, Washri, I've never had Washri appear, and he's prime material. Anayus is a different story, so I checked quickly.
Well, yeah. Where Greyhawk has the edge on
Awesome, Curtis.
There are so many demigods, hero gods, quasi deities. You don't need the actual gods.
Yeah, I think, and Anna, I'm assuming you're. I don't want to speak for you. It's much better to have player versus player, player versus monster, player versus situational than getting gods involved, especially in Greyhawk. It doesn't feel right.
For me, I can have gods involved as phenomena, but not as monsters, so to speak. Meaning, not as monsters with hit points and armor class and stuff like that. More like phenomena. They should, but it's just depending on the campaign style. You might want to think of if you watch the Viking series on History Channel and the others, there you have the gods walking and the characters talking about, like, I met Odin and others and so on and so forth. So you can have the gods, but there are cool ways of doing it that you don't have to have the characters confronting them directly. In a way, you can have them in dreams, and you can have them as phenomena that alters the geography, or do all sorts of stuff to prove that they are above, that there should be, but this is just the way I run them, there should be something more than you can fight, so to speak. You should not even, you need to go to an enormous length just to be able to figure out, to get to a situation where you can start testing the armor class of a god, so to speak. That has not happened in 30 years in my gaming, but you've had them. They met them in dreams, they met them in illusions, they met them in in various other shapes and forms, so to speak, but not directly.
Medcam. So playing out via their agents goes on all the time. In particular, when the From the Ashes box set came out, there was great enmity between Tritherian and not St. Cuthbert, Fultus, the lawful neutral Fultus worshippers. So I have that played up all the time. That those Tritherian, and then there's also other issues where Ouija runs amok of certain other deities because she's technically is lawful neutral with evil tendencies, right? So that's through the agents is fine, but not as far as
But
as far as
you
gods.
can do it if you want to dig in and cut down the deity list.
Yep.
That might be a cool campaign to do. If you want to get rid of a deity or something, you can kind of make it happen as a culmination. But that's up to you. But the thing is, when you do stuff like that, that will have ramifications, because if the characters kill a god, then it's made that will change your campaign forever if you keep consistency. But because if you bring the god back again, then you make the effort kind of a non-event, so to speak, in a way. So these things, and that's not something you should think about before you put the god on the battlefield, so to speak. Not something you should.
I like
putting gods on the battlefield. Here's an old Greyhawk article on fighting Yulon.
Nice. Look at that, everyone.
Awesome. Yeah.
Greyhawk Let's Fight Ula. It's only 4 years old, Mike.
But I think it's really something that you should think about, because it's a way you can go if you want to, and especially if you have like that enormous deity list from Living Greyhawk with like 60, 70 deities. You can probably kill off 10 that wouldn't be much, so to speak. But don't try to kill the iconic ones. So
yeah, please. But hey, it's your game. You can play
exactly.
Make it
just
enjoyable for your players, and know them, and you grow with them, and
But they're
you
major
shouldn't fight the
NPCs.
gods. You shouldn't be able to fight archdevils or demons.
Right.
Either.
Yeah. Treat important NPCs like that as campaign events. So do it very sparingly, and especially think about it before you do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a good point and good question. So so Abathur is the greed god, but Vergadane is like the bard, thief god of wealth and luck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So neutral, 10-story chaotic neutral. So here it is.
Sorry, go on.
It says here, this is funny. Most of Vergadane's adventures concern the elaborate con games he has played on human, demi-human, humanoid, and giant victims in order to win their every belonging of any worth. He's not above using any sort of trick to accomplish his ends, and is eternally suspicious of potential adversaries who might try to trick him in return. So that's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah, there was an interesting thing with bards and dwarfs. I remember the guy that had the first game store in Gothenburg, Sweden, when I started gaming, and he always had stories about his game, and he said that in his gaming group there was one guy who played a dwarf, and he wanted to be a bard, and he wasn't allowed because bards couldn't, or the dwarfs couldn't sing properly, and there was all sorts of prejudice against dwarfs, and it was so funny. So we asked him, like, every time we went down there, how's your character? Is it have you made bard yet? And no, but then eventually after like some years, it's like he was smiling when he saw us, and I was wondering what's up, and it's like, I made bard. My character, my dwarf is a bard. So that's kind of funny. That was an ongoing thing for several years. That was kind of cute. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, he has bard ability even Thurgadane too, 5th level.
Yeah. I actually don't think there was any prejudice in the rules against dwarven bards, and this is 1st edition AD&D, so when it was like a prestige class. But
yeah,
I think dwarves could be bards. I don't think it's mentioned anywhere in particular that they were not allowed.
Humans, half-elves only in 1st edition.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah,
there we go. So it was officially.
It's in the player's handbook in that appendix. Yeah.
See, there you go.
Not even elves, humans and half-elves.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the jester class is humans, half-elves, and gnomes. So yeah.
But so we have it officially, the rules for against dwarven bards. Yeah. Early on. Yeah.
So this is the deity that I'm making up a new specialty priest for Alan, who has a character. in the new Narwhal Headhunter add-on group, we're starting first. He has a specialty priestess of Baranar. So the mother, yep, lawful good. So and it says the greatest of all dwarven goddesses is usually held to be Baranar. Well, I didn't see any others in that list, so I mean there must be others somewhere. The patroness of marriage and love, but not necessarily romance. That's kind of funny thrown in there. So Bernard's not a passive homebody or efforts to preserve and protect Dwarven culture and civilization have spanned many centuries, and dwarves of both sexes revere her name. So there you go. Here's a neat get out of jail free one long shot. If a lawful good dwarven fighter appeals to Baranar for aid for a particular purpose and makes an appropriately large sacrifice, there's a 5% chance she will bestow upon the individual the powers of a paladin of equal level for 3 to 6 days.
Ooh,
Only
that
dwarves of
is-
exceptional pure heart will be considered for this honor, and it may be granted once every 10 years.
But that's powerful. Yeah.
Yep.
No, my favorite Baranar factoid is that when she trims her beard, it turns to gold.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I missed that part too. Thank you, Ben.
Wow.
It says 10 to like 40,000 gold pieces worth of.
Yep.
Gold.
I think anyone can put up with a beard if that's the case. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it could be that Alan's thinking about, because all my guys have access to this detail. The Best of Dragon Volume 3 is like that's our go-to for the human for demi-humans. So yep. And it doesn't even need to be rolled, Curtis. You could fudge it as a for gameplay, for sense of story. You could fudge that roll. Someone attempts that and make them, well, you made it,
You can make it as a boon if they accomplish something in the campaign. They could get it and as a boon rather than rolling it.
And as long as there's a percent, hey, it's a good idea. So I'm sorry, our sweet turd here. All right, so that's the dwarves. So when I'm done Baranar, I'll have 4 specialty priests that are dwarven based in my campaign. That's a lot. That's actually a lot. But hey, we'll go on to wrong one. Do gnomes next? Sound good?
Yeah. Now we're getting into uncharted territory.
Well, without completely abandoning dwarves, there are other dwarven gods.
And where are they?
I think some are monster mythology.
Okay.
Some are.
Hang on a second here.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, we won't dwell too long on these, but there is Dugmarin Brightmantle, son of Moradin, who's a god of scholars.
Let me get that up here. See if I can.
Yeah, Moradin and.
What page are you on? Do you have a page for that?
Nope.
My.
They start on 28.
Wow.
They start on 27.
Page
29.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
29.
So,
Well,
Dumathoin and
so
Modern Brightmantle. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of these would be considered. This is good though. A lot of these would probably be more Forgotten Realms over, right? But there can be absolutely using Greyhawk.
In Moradin's pantheon.
There you go.
They have to be available. And
Awesome.
since Carl Sargent wrote it, I would say default spread.
Okay. We haven't used these. There it is. Dugmarin.
Dugmarin.
It's an errant god in the pantheon. Cool.
They're rare.
Yeah.
For certain, they're rare.
He's neutral, dwells in a plane of concordant opposition.
Yeah, but I also think that the concept of pantheon should. That's something I want to emphasize more in my campaign. So there are certain, meaning some priests like elven priests, and they are in my campaign. They are not priests or clerics of a particular elven deity. They are usually pantheon. So they worship all the deities in the elven pantheon. So if they go hunting, they go on one, and blessing the fields or wedding a couple, then it's another one, and so on and so forth. So yeah.
Tyr is in Forgotten Realms, so that doesn't imply all the Norse gods for their.
Yeah.
Yes, but.
What else is beside Dugmarin's here? So he's
someone Muaman Duwathel, the lesser god of wanderers, is an adventurer patron.
So he's kind of like Farlane for dwarves.
Yeah.
So let's see here. protector of adventurers, travelers, expatriates, and non-dwarven and mixed communities, and all those dwarves who travel far from dwarven homelands. Okay.
Yeah. Mixed communities
Neutral
get me to
good.
think about half dwarfs, which seems to be a rare concept if ever existing.
Yeah.
Meaning we have half elves, but we don't have any half gnomes, and we don't have any half dwarfs, and no halflings. They kind of halflings by themselves already, but yeah.
So he also
Quarterlings, yeah.
throws in a hero god, Gnarlden Steel Shield, which hero
I
of
appreciate
what
this, Mike.
world, I don't know.
I did not. I
But
would have never
if you
gone
want to
here.
get more specific beyond this, Living Greyhawk Journal number 3 has a dwarven hero god
Great.
named Gendwar Argrim.
Oh,
Who wrote that?
Hero god, that would be Eric Kimona, I guess.
Oh, cool.
Right. So Gendwar Argrim, hero god, lawful neutral hero god of fatalism and obsession. It's kind of a, he's that doer dwarf that you always hear about. Dower.
Is he chaotic neutral?
Lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral. Okay.
He's just, he's a Debbie Downer. He
Sounds like Eric.
is not, you know, a priest of that god you do not want in your adventure group, I guess.
I'm looking.
His axe is called Forgotten Hope.
oh.
He's very bleak. He's emo.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like something for Eric Boyd.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
With him
It's
doing a
he will play.
human deity.
He will be a perfect
Yeah.
priest for that.
So
for that
preview,
deity.
Living Greyhawk Journal 3 has an article called Blood of Heroes, and it has a bunch of new hero gods in it. And there's at least one for all the demi-human gods.
So there. Whoops. LGJ3.
Perfect. Yep.
3.
Mhm.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a good.
I probably have that
Good
somewhere,
find.
but I have to search that. That's great, Mike.
Yep.
Do you have a halfling or gnome hero god in there?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
We're going to hear about them then.
Yep.
That's
It's
great.
this one.
In hard copy.
Yeah.
That I don't have in hard copy. I just have it in PDF, but that's really cool. Yes, halflings were hobbits until Tolkien cracked the whip. We also
Yeah.
find out last night about the Hins.
The hen.
That was a hysterical discussion. I got 5 more pages out of it.
Yeah.
Well,
Ed squeezing out as much as he can
Yep.
in his in there.
the whole hobbits and halfling things is funny because in Greyhawk they are hobniz. So
Yeah.
just completely get rid of it.
But is
Yeah.
that term Sul or is that term?
Doesn't matter. It's hobniz. So
Yeah,
that's
it
the wink
sounds
and
more
nod.
like old Flan terms to me.
Okay.
That they were old Flan terms, but I'm not sure. They're like traditional terms or
Right.
something like that, without specifying exactly what language they originate from.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's all the dwarves I have.
Yeah,
That's
the
great.
Hopnis, the Noonies, and so on. Yeah.
And of course, yeah, Ladiger is technically part of the dwarven pantheon because the Duergar only have one deity.
And we covered them last week, which was good on the. Is that Deep Dura?
Wow.
I get them all
I forgot
confused.
about that one. Oh, and most of your dwarven gods live in the 7 heavens, which is 7 layers kind of stacked like a mountain, I
Yeah.
believe.
Something that always struck me with dwarfs is that they when you read about them, they are very lawful and very good and but especially lawful and organized and trustworthy and all that. But when dwarfs are played and portrayed in books and films, whatever, they're very chaotic. They're rumbling around and
Yeah.
and anything but very kind of so and elves are the opposite. When you read about elves, they're
They're the serious
chaotic
Right, they're
good and stuff.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's a
when
good
you see
point,
them in
Hannah.
movies
The
and
opposite.
whatever, yeah, then they always somber, very
Very
thoughtful, and
interesting.
They
yeah, so they're the opposite from what they're described in text, both of them.
Knolls is GNOLLS. They're not related.
Yeah.
Gnolls and
But gnomes, we
kobolds.
don't have much gnomes in description
Yeah.
or like in acting in movies and stuff. But
Well,
halflings we have from Tolkien, so
They
and they
put
seem to be neutral.
dwarves in as comedy relief. They do, and
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. That's what. Yeah.
which is
Mhm.
which is
Yeah, they're
sad.
not serious. So, but
Yeah,
and you have the movie.
the
The follow
Hobbit,
up from
where
exactly the Hobbit trilogy. Then they're all kind of just going overboard
they're
in
all
things.
vagabonds.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the odd dwarfs we see, and even in the Drizzt Do'Urden books, when you have dwarfs coming with that, they are the oddballs that we see depicted in books and movies, not the regular dwarfs. They are kind of staying home, defending the hearth and the keep and the cave and family and everything. Yeah.
Dragonlance elves use the various tribes to distinguish different characteristics. Yep. Yeah, and they don't have dark elves, which is interesting.
Yeah. That is a Greyhawk and a Forgotten Realms thing now.
Yep. Are related.
Primarily, I think. Maybe they're spilled over to other worlds, but those two definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
Gnomes.
Knolls and a basic.
Yeah, I read that in the basic
Wow.
set somewhere.
I
There's
never heard that.
fools and gnolls, and their combination
Of
stuff.
gnomes and trolls, ghouls. Wow.
Something like
Yep.
that.
I'd love to see who did that. All right, so Garl Glittergold,
Yeah.
gnome deity, handsome gnome skinned, gold skinned gnome, ever changing gemstones for eyes.
I love that name too. It's kind of cool.
Was
It is a good name.
Roger? So I asked Roger Moore, and I forget what he said. Why they added gnomes? And he said some movie. They saw him in some movie, if I recall correctly. Was that the answer? Gary
I
said,
think so.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I always thought it was garden gnomes because they are all over England and stuff. So I always assumed that it was a joke that you put garden gnomes in the game. So that's how I assumed it was these porcelain little kind of things that you put out in the garden to guard it or to just decorate it with. That's how I thought they got their because they look a lot like them, so to speak. So the people that started drawing gnomes, they looked at the garden gnomes because they're dressed that way. They have that nose and that little cute little faces and stuff from garden gnomes. And the term seems to stuck too. So yeah.
Yeah, so it says here that another side to Garl than that the witty adventurer who collapsed the Cobalt King's cavern. So, yeah, and also he has enmity with Cthulhu, which is the god of the kobolds too. I know that. So
he is a prankster.
Yes, a prankster. A lot of gnomes are pranksters.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then they got the steampunky thing that they're supposed to be techies, kind of fantasy techies, and building things and tinker and stuff like that.
Sean Allen
never made it.
asked you are gnomes Swedish lore?
And to some degree, yes, because they seem to be Northern European. It's actually interesting because in Nordic old lore, we used to have gnomes. They were around, especially at Christmas. They were small fey-like creatures that often depicted the way gnomes look, so to speak, small, and they were around protecting your farm and your animals and stuff like that. And what you did in winter, especially when winter was cold and bitter winter, you put a porridge in the barn for the gnomes to feed them and help them. And they were in the Nordic mythology, they were the early Santa was a gnome. And then until the modern Santa, that is an American invention, came in the, what was it, 19th century or something like that. Yeah, so Santa, the old traditional Santa, and you can still see Christmas postcards and stuff, and they have little chubby gnomes with pointy red hats and that looks like gnomes.
How about
and they're still in Christmas cards and stuff because there was a lot of them, and there are several famous Swedish artists that drew children's stories and stuff like that. Edward Munch and there are several others. And yeah, exactly. That's the Madcap. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say they are the leprechaun. They are the Nordic versions of the leprechauns. Exactly. Oh, wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they come at Christmas, and we used to so there's some sort of crossover confusion between Santa Claus and gnomes in Nordic mythology, and it's kind of one turned gradually into another, so to speak, over time.
That is cool.
Yep.
Taught me something I didn't know about Santa
Yep.
Claus.
Yep. So we have adopted the originally American modern Santa, so to speak. But originally it was small gnomes that were around in winter and protected your farmhouse and your animals and tended to them and helped you out
Did they
in winter,
fix your
especially.
shoes?
Sorry?
Did they fix your shoes?
Oh yeah, they could fix all sorts of things. They were little benign creatures that was presumed to live around your and you were supposed to treat them well and feed them and stuff. And I guess you fed the neighbor's cat and stuff like that instead. But something ate the stuff you put out there. But that was tradition, and I think there might still be farmers that do it to this day, because I remember they did it when I was a kid. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
cool
I think it's
background.
the same phenomena that is all over Northern Europe, from British Isles to it probably maybe an old Celtic, Germanic kind of tradition that comes from old roots, because it seems to be all over Northern Europe. Different, they call different things, and there are slight varieties, but they all seem to be very gnome-like, so to speak, in appearance and stuff. But that might also be something that modern day artists have looked at the same idea and got to it. But they're, at least the story seems to be overlapping very to a large degree, and they're very gnome-like in description. They live in little holes in the ground and stuff like that.
Yep,
So
and
like
Amy says it
gnomes.
seems similar to brownies and pixies. So I'm going to ask a dumb
Yeah.
question. I hope the brownies return in the Willow TV show.
Yep.
Yeah, I misconstrued who they were, by the way. When I because it came out what, in the 87 or whatever it came out.
Yep.
Yeah, I always thought it was Lenny and Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley were the brownies, but it wasn't, because you couldn't tell. You couldn't. They were too small to see who they actually were. And the one guy's the guy from he was in A Few Good Men, and yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, Fangin and Rule. Yeah.
Cool. Yep.
So all right, so a little more serious pantheon here than the dwarves. Yeah. Well, even though they had jokester here.
Yeah, but gnomes, you can't really take them seriously. I don't think they deserve to take seriously. They should be taken with fun and love rather than seriousness.
So, Bear Van Wild Wanderer, the forest gnome. And it's his closest rival in the field of good-natured mischief.
Yeah.
So, we've had a lot of Bear Van Wild Wanderer gnomes in our time,
Interesting.
worshippers. No. So, especially priest-wise, one book, Jay. Yeah, it does. I saw one too. I'm not sure it's the same one. And Bill and Mr. Crefter got all excited because Joanne Wally was in it. Because his one character looks just like her. He's always had a Joanne Wally fixation ever since the original Willow. I do have Flandel, Steelskin, and Ula would be the and a human deity that you don't think about. We'll talk about that. So there's another one that you probably don't think, and it kind of wouldn't make sense. Oh, well, we'll talk about that. So Bear Van Wild Wanderer, thief abilities, ranger abilities, druid abilities. So he's the outdoor gnome. That's why he's called the forest gnome. Is this the one with Chick Ticka Fast Paws or whatever his name is? Yes. Yes. Bearvan has a traveling partner, a giant raccoon named Chick Ticka Fast Paws, but highly intelligent but prone to act before he thinks. Great.
I love that. The article says that gnome gods always have some kind of companion.
Amy, guess please in chat, and we'll see if you're correct. She says, I suspect who I know you're talking about, which is a good deity for a gnome, human deity. Gotta think about that. No.
She's not wrong.
Not wrong. Could be, because Fortabo is very dwarven looking, and but no, gnomes. I'm going to throw it out there. There is actually one in published source. All right, here's our very evil gnome god, Urban the Crawler Below. So whereas most of the other pantheons don't have really foul, evil deities. They went for it, Mike. Right? Roger went for it here.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's from the abyss, I guess.
Yep.
Or somewhere. So it's not a gnome. If it is, it's some mutated golem like a gnome. He became a mole.
Yeah, but they seem to be, the demi-humans seems to be interesting. The humans, they span the whole, meaning they have evil and good and all sorts of cults. But the elves and the dwarfs and the gnomes, when they turn evil, it changes not only their beliefs, but they change them physiologically. Usually, they become Deros or Dwergar or something or Drow or something like that. So they turn into evil creatures, not only elves with nasty culture, but there seems to be exceptions. Meaning you have evil elves, but you also have elves that are a completely different kind of elves and dwarves.
Of course, I've come up with this conundrum in recent editions of human paladins or whatever race you pick worshiping Bahamut.
Yeah,
a dragon.
Yeah.
So I guess
in my campaign, Hieronymus and Bahamut are the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying Erdlin could just actually be a gnome or a mole.
Yeah.
Worshiping gnomes.
So it says here, gnomish assassins and evil thieves and fighters make up the worshippers of this awful deity. They share their lord's love for evil and deadly pranks directed against all creatures, even other gnomes.
But Jay, didn't you have like one of the nastiest creatures is like a gnome illusionist assassin or something like that? It was like they can be really effective. They can
and here great. There is, so if you look in the original Arcana, that was an allowable multi-class, and that multi-class, if you get to a certain level and you're doing improved invisibility with non-detection, with all the other, you cannot.
You're really effective. Yeah,
really effective as an assassin, and that character was the head of the Dark Brotherhood for 20+ years of real life time in my game.
Yeah.
I go through our arch antithesis every 15 to 20 years, so we are in another one right now. Holly, the specialty priestess of Leviatar, is the head of the Dark Brotherhood now. The Maiden of Pain. Yes, I will use deities from other realms because I think it's fun, and why not?
Yeah, if you have a niche to fill, then, then instead of inventing one, if someone else have invented it and the name and the description is cool, then put it in your campaign. Yeah.
And once again, all I had was deities and demigods in 1980.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
you started before there even was any real Greyhawk deities. Yeah.
So Erlin's bad, as we can see. The bad. Rarely do I use this deity, Sejukan Earthcaller. Yes, absolutely, Curtis. That's why. That's why we use finished deities. I have Ukko, I have Ilmater, and I have Leviatar and Heisei, all from that, because that's what we had pantheon-wise for humans back then. We did not have Greyhawk deities. In the 1980 glossography, they didn't exist. They wasn't until 83. So, Patrick, I hope you have a good night, man. So, deity of earth and nature. So, definitely an interesting mix there. Rarely have I used. Rarely. So, and then Flandale Steelskin, we used him a lot. He's only a demigod, the Forger, but we have a specialty priest written up of Flandale Steelskin. So,
Flandale is the strongest of the gnomes at 22 strength. The article says.
Are the gnome gods giants like the dwarfs?
No, he's 4 feet tall.
That's what I'm saying. I think these dwarves in D&D are like Norse dwarves. I think they're giants.
It's kind of it's kind of but they're aspiring to be giants. So
so this is the Forger, right? So this is almost like the Moradin equivalent for the Dwarven pantheon, but Moradin's the greatest god of the Dwarven pantheon, and he's just a demigod, which leads me to believe that forging is not their thing, because he's only a demigod. More of their thing is mining and the finding of gems, right, and gem cutting.
Yeah,
over
dwarves
forging.
seems to be the ones that are the
Yeah.
smiths really, and so on. Elves are known for their swords and stuff too. So both elves and dwarves, but it's interesting. Greyhawk don't have the tinkering gnome culture much, or the steampunk version of gnomes. They haven't made it into Greyhawk.
So
Yeah.
the deity I was thinking about, Amy, going on that tinker realm, the way gnomes are, is Merlin. I think Merlin would fit for gnomes. If they wanted to go with a human deity,
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a
god of technology. So
Yeah, but then you have
Well,
the tinkering aspect. That's kind of cool that it's coming in.
I don't have a tinker class, but that doesn't mean that the gnomes can't use that ability. Use that and have
It is a niche
interests.
that you can kind of put in there, that they do take technology for fun rather than for serious.
It doesn't need
greed
to
or
be
something.
technology. It needs to be the inquisitiveness of what Merlin does.
Yeah,
Did I put that
yeah.
the right way? Yeah. Well, from Dragonlancer, especially the Tinker class is its own class. But my thought on that was, and it doesn't have to be like create water spell can have magically a pipe appear from the ground with water spewing out of it.
Yeah, I could see them as the inventors and the ones having fun. Yeah, I put them in there that they used cold spells to make ice cream and sold ice cream in Rel'Devin.
Awesome.
So they were gnomes that had an ice cream shop and parlor, and they opened it and they invented they shook milk and put sugar and honey and stuff in there and made ice cream, and it was hugely popular. There was like a whole queue around the block and stuff. So I thought that was kind of a gnome tinkerish kind of thing, and they love their food and stuff. So
very cool.
So you can come up with some unique stuff like that.
And that's the thing is that every DM who does Greyhawk's a little different, and that's nothing wrong with that at all. Having a little bit of I think it's a good thing. That do I absolutely, Troy? I use illusionist. In fact, we're talking Pookhead, illusionist, assassin, gnome, deadly character. Can't find them.
Yeah, and illusions are really cool if you use them in combination with other stuff like thievery or fighting ability or something like that. Not by itself. It's more like it's an aid rather than a basics in itself.
Amy has that straight illusionist in the game that she's played, right? But they're tough. Straight illusionists are tough. A lot, almost. I know of Alan's got one, but the older brother is a cleric illusionist gnome.
Yeah.
So normally you see fighter illusionist. This is in PC. Fighter illusionist and cleric illusionists.
Yeah. In my campaign, in Rel'Devin campaign, we had an illusionist bard that was really cool. The top entertainer could sway a crowd with all sorts of cool stuff. So that was a real cool combo too.
Yeah, and so Blood, I don't allow Shadow Magic is not the realm of the gnome. I don't think that fits the gnome. I think that fits the elves and the dark elves and humans and so gnomes we limit them to illusion magic in my game. Whether you want to do that differently, that's perfectly fine. Plus, I don't have gnomish necromancers running around either. But I can see a dark elf necromancer all day long.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's a good point. So Mike, you said you had some gnome characters in your game.
There have been gnomes time to time.
Very cool.
Not as many as halflings.
So you have more halflings in it. Well, that's interesting. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I've never played
gnomes
a gnome.
are,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the prankster illusionist thing. It's just they've always been more of an NPC annoyance than a player race for us.
Yeah.
Amy, you're correct. A straight illusionist is difficult to play and challenging because they're even more brittle than a mage for the most part. Because a lot of their defensive spells they got good defensive spells, but they just are not offensively damaging.
Multi-class, they could be really cool. Meaning you can have illusionist assassin and illusionist bard or something. That was a fantastic fun combo that was done a lot of both boosting the party and really earning money and weighing people and swaying whole town's opinions about things. That was great. It was a news teller too, and stories and stuff. So yeah.
I'm going to show something after we get through the gnome deities. It'll make everyone laugh if you didn't see it last night. So, all right. So Baravar Cloak Shadow, Mike. I see that one on.
Illusions.
Yeah. A sly, sneaky gnome deity. A god of illusionists.
Sounds to be the main one, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is missed in the Roger Moore article.
Yeah, illusions, trap, ambushes, and the like. Yep.
Right.
Very cool.
Right.
Like
Some
illusionist
important
rogue, or illusionist
facet.
thief god. Yeah.
Is that the only added one in here, or is there? Oh, here's another one.
Oh, there's others.
Geraldal Ironhand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably he's a combat god, and he does not have a sense of humor.
Yeah, it says he could be the only one considered stern.
Yeah.
Huh. Gyarados is an avatar to assist gnomes in preparation for battle. Okay, well that's cool.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty, he can create walls of iron and stone. Oh, they're nasty. So Gyarados priests are close to being a warrior caste as one could find among gnomes. So it's almost the equivalent of Clangett Silverbeard gnomes. Dwarves, right? It's almost an equivalent. Interesting. I'm just looking here to see if there's anything that stands out. Nice. So, hey, fighting priest. That's the fighting priest one right there. Neat.
In Living Greyhawk Journal 3,
Nice.
there's the gnome hero god, neutral evil gnome hero god, Roiken, the Merciless, who is the god of cruelty. He is a cruel prankster. He is a former priest of Erglin who was raised up to godhood by Arithmal.
Arithmal, the slaughterer, huh?
Yeah, there's a pedigree for you. So Roiken is this god was created in the 3rd edition era. Roiken is the god who's responsible for all those evil gnome stories you hear about in Living Greyhawk.
And we have Q's that was not Q's. Keraptis that with his evil gnomes. So there you have
that too.
Evil gnomes from history. So yep.
We also have evil gnomes in Wyvernon, where this priest of Hextor is in the Slavers reference. There's a whole cadre of them there.
Yeah, so they
protecting the town.
Yep, they seem to have their cults too. So yep.
Yes. It just
really
fit.
Nasty. Yeah, I can really see when they go evil, they can be real nasty, I think.
We could do that around the table and ask everyone who the worst villain I've ever had a long term is on Thursday night. Bill won't be there because Bill's daughter's graduating on Thursday. I guarantee you they'll say the gnome.
Okay.
Yeah, I can ask though. Yep. So Nebelin the Meddler.
Nebelin is that's your inventor god.
The Deep Gnome's god is Caladeran Smoothhands, right? The Deep Gnome. Yeah, we did one for Underdark last week, so it's up. But yeah, it's yeah. We talked about Caladeran Smoothhands. Nebelin the Meddler, lesser god Gnome Hero. He stole the tail of Semuana, the Lizardman god, skinned it, and built the first gnomish blimp by sewing it up and inflating it with hot air using a massive bellows contraption.
There you have the tinkering. They are in Greyhawk too. Yeah,
that is awesome.
They make blimps. Yeah.
One sec. Not that Nebelin's schemes quite work out as planned.
Yep. And now all the sorry.
No, it's okay. That's funny.
Yep. Like in all the aviation buffs, you can say, what's the blimp? What's the difference between a blimp and an airship? And a blimp doesn't have a rigid body. And that's it's what they call a non-structurally rigid air dirigible or something like that in aviation terms. So airships have rigid bodies, but they're lighter in air. So a blimp is a non-rigid
Most blimps are
lighter than
helium.
aircraft. Yep.
Well, most blimps are helium. Airships had to be hydrogen for the most part, right?
Well, that was just a matter of if they had access to it, so to speak.
Oh, really?
Helium is much, yeah, helium both works on both of them. But the thing was that hydrogen is a lot cheaper and easier to produce. Helium is very, very difficult, and there are very few countries that could produce large amount of helium. So that's why the Germans had to use hydrogen in their airships, because they were locked out of the international helium market. Because when that became a strategic asset, the British and the US started to hoard their helium and didn't sell it to anyone, and Germany didn't get a hold of it, so they had to resort to hydrogen that is flammable. But it's also lighter, so you have to use bigger volume when you have helium than when you have hydrogen. So it's in that sense it's a little bit more effective, but I think that's marginal. But the hydrogen is flammable and helium is inert. So there you have a big difference. But that's a real world tangent, so we should not dig too deep.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's good discussion. So, have you seen any of the Heroes of High Favor supplements about various deity-related classes? Well, I have a couple. I haven't even talked about them, but I have this. I have the Shield Thane, which is the other build, not Build a Master Crafter made, and then we have the Guardian for Halfling. So I'm not sure, Hager, where that is, the Heroes of High Favor supplement, and what edition that is. So just if you know where it is, let me know. But I don't have one for Gnome. I don't have a specialty class for Gnome. I do have one for Dwarf and for Halfling. Yeah, go absolutely. You may post a link. Sure. All right. So Halflings, Yandala, one of the few that don't have a picture in here.
Yeah, but I get the sense we had these crossover deities for elves and for gnomes and for dwarves in Ula hang on a second. Well, yeah, but anyway, I was thinking Marika might be one for halflings that you might play out as a crossover deity.
Oh, Marika, yeah.
Exactly, because to me it sounds a bit like you can use that as a crossover. If you want to have a crossover deity between halflings and humans, Marika might be the one that fit that build, because it's not detailed much more than a local agricultural god. So that might and it's set originally in the Mist March, or in the Sheldamar Valley in the Oracle. What's the adventure called? It's the against the cult of the reptile god.
Yes, and one by Doug Niles.
Exactly, that's where Marika is mentioned, and therefore kind of introduced into Greyhawk that way.
So speaking of that, I just got I just got a message, a Facebook Messenger message, about Thomas Roverson's interview with Doug Niles too. So from John Miller, who said he's watching. So I got to lead to Doug Niles, believe it or not.
Oh, fantastic! That would be awesome.
So, I need to respond to this. So
Elonna was the goddess elven human crossover I was fumbling after.
Yep. So Yandala is the provider and the protector of for the halflings. And I don't. So as far as my deities go, there for halfling, we only had Ula, and then I'm doing Brandabaris now. Is the other one that I've added in, and that's it. Because they haven't asked for it. Normally, when you get a halfling in my game, they tend to be druids, so they go with druidic deity. Yeah,
we always play them as thieves back in the day when we had halflings.
Druid Thief is one of the nastiest multi-class options there is for a halfling.
Okay,
especially at higher levels. Tim's dad, John, had Petronius Niger took 12/12 Druid Thief. Really disgustingly nasty character, one of the highest level characters that came up in the game. So I'm sorry, I'm typing back here.
That's important.
Multitasking here. So Protector Yandala wards off evil influences and intrusions to give halfling the strength and determination to defend themselves.
Yeah, but Yandala is more like Corellian Larethian or something, like an over deity of the pantheon leading deity, or like guard little.
She don't go out much.
Exactly, but it's like one of
Stays
these that
home.
the pantheon leading or superior god in the pantheon kind of thing that you can use for lots of different. If you only want one god for each of the demi,
She's the
you would
overgod.
yeah.
She's one of those I'm kind of saying, Yandala halflings seem to spread everywhere, right? They're on all these worlds. So you would think she would have
She
more
would be
influence
yeah,
than
but she's
most
a
human
greater
gods.
goddess in second edition. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a greater goddess. So even toe to toe, Yandala could beat up St. Cuthbert, let's say.
But yeah, so yeah, so you have a it's interesting. Yeah.
I don't use kits, but while I back convert classes, all classes to 1E, so I don't kit them out. So if that answers your question. So specialization, two-fisted fighting, all that, you know. But I don't actually use kits, but if there's an idea that a kit can get turned into a class, then I do it. Hence why we have, I don't know, 44 different base classes in my 1E, 2E game. Yeah. So sometimes that will
Used to
happen.
like kits.
They're cool for, you know, to like, you know, Myrmidons or whatever. But
Kits is what made the transition for me to third edition
It did,
prestige
defeats.
classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're correct on
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely both. Yeah.
Jim Holloway, good art.
Yep.
Oh yeah, exactly. He
Yeah.
did so much cool art, especially in the Dragon
So good at
magazines.
demi.
Yep.
So
And also he did fun art, so to speak, hilarious, kind of fun, joyful
Like
things.
Castle
Yeah.
Greyhawk.
let me elaborate on that, Fuzz. They may have worshipped Sheila Perillo as a druid, but they had the druid spell list and druid abilities already that are preset, so they did not get a specialty priest version of that druid, right? I do have specialty druids. I have 4 of them. I have Alana has a druid version. The Master of the Hunt, which I just stole Malar, which I love the Malar one, and Forgotten Realms and converted it. Serenus, Primal Visceral Neutrality, and Real Fame Ralphil, the Sylvan Elf god, has one, and they're the 4. Never has I would make it if, but none of my characters ever go. I want a specialty priest, cleric, druid. I want the druid one of Sheila Peril. You make up if they none of them ever asked. That's why. So normally it's to the point now where I make stuff up based on request, like this Baranar priestess that I'm making up. So, yep. So here's Sheila Peril the Wise. So she's the druidic, you know, halfling deity of agriculture, nature, and weather. Yep. So hopefully that explains.
It sounds like a halfling druid kind of god.
Gweny and Articana. Yeah. So thank you. Like I said, I always do stuff by request. And a lot of those druids like going with old, what do you call it? Old faith druid. They still liked it. Even the halflings. The halflings worship human deities a lot more than I think a lot of other races do. So whether it's Cernus in my game or it's Biori or whoever.
Yeah, that's my problem, because we don't have much to go by in Greyhawk when it comes to halfling culture or halfling settlements, or they don't seem to have their own realms, countries.
Elmshire, that's about it, right?
Yeah, but that's just a town with,
That's it.
and we heard that the halflings live in, but we never heard of a halfling king or a count or a baron or ruler or mayor or anything. It's like that they seem to be around here and there, but that's about it. They have no political footprint, no military footprint, little bit religious footprint in kind of auxiliary products, not in the Greyhawk label products themselves.
But Tolkien influence.
Yeah, so it's kind of a they are kind of a little bit of a shadowy creature. They're there, but they're not really present, so to speak, in the stories and stuff. So it's, yeah, I think they deserve someone should make much more write-ups about halflings and introduce them properly, give them a home and a purpose and a culture and all that in the setting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, do I think they shied away from them due to the Tolkien issue? Yeah, well,
Yeah,
they call them. Yeah,
it's
a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
but I think Gary had a lot going on.
Oh yeah, he had a lot, but we had many others afterwards, and they never been in Card Sergeant didn't talk much about halflings and none of the other ones. So they kind of, except for these kind of little insider things on deities and a few other things. But when it comes to the setting and the stories and stuff, no, not much. Meaning the Marklands and the book that covers a lot of areas that presumably have a lot of halflings in them, they're barely mentioned.
And Onsen, that's in an adventure too. I forget what the one is. It's on the border with the lord that's causing trouble. I actually ran a version of that. It's like some I forget what the name of it was.
Hang on a second. I can find the
where
valley here.
Where that valley is. Yeah.
Yep.
So. Yeah, for me, Shadow Mages is my game. Blood or elf, half elf, and all.
It is the Valley of the Lamia, I think. It's one of them that they were mentioned, and then I think there's also the Yanaquil Valley is another one that.
It's the one it's the one not far from Karastein's castle, to the southeast of Karastein's castle.
Yeah, then it's the Valley of the Lamia, I think. Yeah.
Yep. So, Arvreen the Defender. I'm going to show. I know it's in here.
War God.
War God. And if you watch the Ed Greenwood group, you have, and I should have gotten the article out, but I didn't, but go in the direction, and that's the Guardian. The Guardians, don't sell them short. This is by Peter Dosick. I have used this class, Halfling Guardian. You know, William Henry Dvorak made a 5e version of this, so that is available if you play 5e for the Guardian. He did do that, and they're not paladins. They're like a mix. They're like a sheriff almost, but with a little ranger bandit ability. You know, so it's good. It's a good class. So, yep, yeah. So Arvreen is their defender. Look, he's 4.5 feet tall. That's huge for a halfling. Here's one I rarely use. Saril. I can barely pronounce it. That's probably why. Lawful good. Deity of friendship and trust, as well as protector like Yandala. So, yeah. So.
BFFs forever.
Bad things always happen in Elmshire, Ron, because where else are they going to happen to halflings in Greyhawk? Because there's not Crown Hills. There's no specific, locations. Elmshire is the big halfling location that you know about.
But there are areas that needs to be developed for halflings. I think.
Yeah.
There should be places in Iron Ernst and the Sheldamar Valley and other good, stable, good aligned countries that have been around for a long time. That's where I think they should be. Yeah.
So Brandon Barris, especially priest, I'm working on that up. We actually had a character that was a priest, especially priest Brandon Barris. I never got around to working it up, but they had a couple spells out of the one book, and I just added them into a base spell list. So yeah, that's another one I owe. So that'll be a halfling deity, and he's lots of thieves worship Brandon Barris. Probably. How many halflings in your games weren't thieves or multi-class thieves?
In my game back when we had them, they were either thieves or fighter thieves. That was
right. They were not. Yeah, very rarely are they straight fighters.
Exactly. They were.
In the beginning.
I don't think. I think those were the only combinations: pure thieves or fighter thieves. Right. I think those were the ones we had, and they were popular. Well, because we read Tolkien books so much back then. So they were, and we always called them hobbits. Yeah, but then they fell out of favor. So I haven't had many halflings since after we moved into second edition and moved away from Tolkien more as a pure inspiration. Then we lost interest in halflings, I think. Hobbits.
Yeah, Ron, they're in the Good Hills, they're in the Crown Hills, but there's no established town on the map for halflings other than Elmshire. That's the point I was making. Yeah. Yep.
Which is kind of interesting because a coastal town. I don't really see them as coastal much or fishermen or anything like that.
I had a halfling character once in Warhammer, because of course, and my halfling was famous for being able to eat anything. He was a gourmand. And so I would often get tricked into eating things that were chaos related. And it would mutate you, but if you
Yeah.
failed your save,
Whoops, that was
good,
wrong.
good times.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was
Spell
thinking
button
we
was wrong.
talked about wisdom when I read the Wizards 3 articles for leading up to yesterday. They were so food related. So it was almost like it was written by a halfling because they were like there was so much about food.
Or George Martin.
Yep.
How about
Saucer.
how about
That's awesome.
Acorn on about the turtle soup spell last night? I thought that was pretty interesting. So let me see here. Who do we have? Do we have any others beyond that in here, Mike?
In monster mythology?
Yeah.
Urugala,
here we go. Calder.
Yeah.
Urugalan, right?
Yep. Urugala.
Demigod.
Earth and
So-
Earth
Death.
and Death. Yeah.
Urugalan is the Valkyrie to Arvarines, whoever you want to
Oh.
associate him to,
Mhm.
Odin or Thor.
Okay.
Yeah.
He kind of takes the dead, the fallen halflings to halfling Valhalla.
Black dog head silhouette is his symbol. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Protector of the souls of the dead. That's kind of cool. Yep.
So the Vesvi for halflings, Doc, the Valley of the High Folk more than the Vesvi itself, right? But I imagine there's some small communities of
I'd say they
halflings in the
stick close
Vesvi.
to the river.
Yeah, there may be here and there, but mostly it's the Valley of the High Folk itself. But yeah, but I don't think there's an established settlement name in the Vesvi for halflings at all. But I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive there's not. So yep, deathly aspect is protector of souls of the dead. Okay, and he's neutral, so he's not evil. Go. And then you have a hero here, Calder Swiftfoot, the hero of the Bad Boy Made Good School. A common theme in halfling moral tales. That's funny.
There you go. He's the Han Solo of.
Wow. Thus he fools the ogres of the Black Eye, fools gold, and manages to make off with their chest of treasure. He dupes an orc priest into donning boots of dancing. Well, so he is. He's a thief.
So
16th.
I read some. Yeah.
Good, Mike.
Excuse me. I read something interesting about Brandabaris. In the Roger Moore stuff, I believe, and it said that a halfling thief who's 11th level or higher has a 1% chance per level of meeting Brandabaris. Like he likes to show up and well, those are his people. And
so I'm going to tell you something. Every time Alan's character Sam levels, and every time Tim's character Leuven, the light-fingered, levels, and I remember the joke was Sam gets to 16th, I make Leuven 17th, 17th, 8th. I do it all intentionally, just drive him crazy. So Tim's thief's hot, one level higher always. Every level they go up, they ask me to check that.
Nice, nice, because that's how you know you're a made dwarf or a halfling.
Yeah, so every time it hasn't happened yet because it's not cumulative.
Someday.
Yes, so but that's a great point, Mike. You brought that up. Yeah, I've always checked that with them. So, and that
Merlin Bloodwild.
Yep. Merlin, Murlynd. The picture is Clint Eastwood as the man with no name, by the way.
Yep.
That's who it is, and he comes from Boot Hill originally. That's why. Yeah. So that was a really great discussion last night. They bounced all over the place. So,
Living Guard Journal number 3.
What's that? Living Journal. Yes, go for it.
So you got the neutral hero god halfling Charmelein. Charmelein or Charmelein, the lucky ghost. hero god of keen senses and narrow escapes.
Oh.
I believe this is a female hero goddess.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Sponsored to godhood by an interesting combination. Farlangan and Brenda Bars
Oh,
Oh.
nice mix.
combined to give Charmelene a boost.
Mm-hmm.
So she's your prototypical lucky halfling.
Mm-hmm.
Always seems to, evade those traps and
Yeah. Which
escapes
kind of
where the
ties
rest of
into
your
5e.
dies.
Yeah, where they have a luck bonus.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
that's Greyhawk.
It's good. It's good that that stuff got added in because and I should actually look into some of those other ones and open them up. Because remember, like there's an article in Dragon with added elven deities, which we added in, but we've never added in others. So for dwarves, gnomes, and like I need to do more, right? And I mean, I think I got time on my hands to add in other deity priests and things, but it's good to see that the pantheons are decent sized. I mean, the dwarves is probably the biggest, counting the ones in all the sources, probably 10 to 11, and then
They're
gnomes,
literally the biggest.
yeah, by far, gnomes probably 8, and then halflings probably 8 to 9, 8 to 10. Has anyone used the 1E or even 2E artificers? The mention of guided technology got me thinking. No, I have not. That isn't there an artificer in 3rd edition?
I think it is. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a 3E
I think
class.
there are. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
modern artificer class comes from that line, I think.
Yeah. So Groovy, I'll tell you a story about Merlin spoons, real quick. So we actually had that used as a semi-torture device once. So Marco did this, and Adam's going to get a kick out of this.
Uh-oh.
So they came across a half orc, it was a dumb thief half orc mob guy or whatever, and they captured him. And I forget which character it was of Mark's. I think it was his halfling guardian, Spooter Paddywhack. I think.
Spooter Paddywhack.
Spooty, yeah, Spooter Paddywhack. And he said, "Well, you're going to tell us what we want to know?" And the half orc goes, "I ain't going to tell you shit." He took the Merlin spoon, put it in the half orc's mouth, and started stirring it. Right, just and things like this is disgusting. I'll tell you whatever. So there you go. So he used that kind of as a way to get, because it is like cardboard. Yeah. So it was hysterical. It's one of those moments you remember for years. So, yep. Yeah. So definitely, it was a fun thing. So everyone want to get a laugh? We'll give you a laugh from. So we had a new. I threw in a new really cool magic item on Saturday night. So here is this character wearing Nita's wondrous multicolored wig. There we go.
Oh, is that where it came from? I saw the picture yesterday, but I didn't know where it
Now,
was supposed to be.
obviously, that's
Yeah.
Brianna backwards wearing hers, but Van Wickman put his Josh's head on it in the front. So there you go. Yeah, Van. So hey, yeah, I know it's a great item. So, but yeah, so there's good old Josh smiling away. So Carl got it. Carl Speckleaf got that. But when Brianna returns in a future game, he's going to give it over to her, and she's going to wear it during the adventure because she has it. She has that wig on. Yeah, so gorgeous. Exactly. I know it's a great item. So there you go. It's neat stuff. So look at that. 9:40 almost. Gotten through this far.
Yeah.
Does the audience have questions? So custom, that was that. So Roval Jacks, that's Nita's wondrous multicolored wig, and it just so happened I gave it out as a magic item. It was on it was on a petrified character in that Medusa lair, but magic items sometimes make their saves, and it wasn't petrified, so they got it. And then it gives you some spell effects and better armor class and stuff. And Josh's character got it, so Vamp Wickman did that picture up. After we got it from Brianna, who played in the game. She was great, by the way. Hopefully everyone saw that. So, just try to unsee it, Alex says. It's funny. Anyone have any questions there? So, Oh, great! If I start giving that out, I'm going to get in trouble. I just and Josh just Josh just made some Gary Con guarantees about my platinum badge. So I can't have him if I give out that stuff and he goes, well, think twice about that. I gotta be careful.
Yeah, you want your badge next
Yeah, I
year.
want
too.
that. Yeah, I gotta keep my platinum badge. So so we have a shield thing class for dwarves, which I really didn't discuss, and it's similar to that 3rd edition prestige dwarven defender. But it's its own class in its own right. It's set at first edition. They have they're tanks basically. So just note we have the shield thing character class. They have to fight with shield. They get some shield dodge like a monk. They get shield bash, and it's all been done back in 1st edition. It's a pretty cool class. So note that's a specialized class we did for dwarves, and we have the halfling guardian. So yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Elven Gods is a previous episode. Yes, Elven Gods was a previous episode where we handled that, and that's why we're dancing around it right now. So absolutely, because we did do that, and we did Underdark last week. So we figured Mike's idea was let's get the short people done, and with how busy I was setting up. Look, I got a blank thing right there. That drives me crazy. It's right after Yandala. One's not coming up. It's Sheila Peril. That's weird. Strange when that happens. Very strange. So let me just go back and forth here real quick. Sorry, I'm just doing this to go back and forth and see if I can get it reset. Huh. Interesting. Oh, it just disappeared. All right, so questions from the audience, please, if you have any, before we continue onward here. Try this. There we go. Okay, got it.
Yeah, we will go back to the various gods in a couple of years or something like that when there's new stuff to when we find new stuff or when it's so long that we haven't talked about it, so we have a lot of new people watching and stuff, then we can go back.
Oh, Medcamp, yes. Thursday nights. So Thursday night is my game with my friends. We've been playing since 1980, 42 years, and we're finishing up an adventure which is based out of someone could win tonight. Treasures of Greyhawk, and it's called Vestra and the Helm of Selnor. The Helm of Selnor is in here, but it's modified for my campaign. This is the 3rd week of it, and it's a pretty cool one. And then I just did something on Saturday night for the Slav Squad where I have my special groups. So check out the Slav Squad, the new recruits, and Ed Greenwood's group 2 drink minimum. All I live stream all those.
And then on Sundays you have gabbing shows where you talk about more like DM advice and we talk about our own campaigns and stuff and so on, not the setting in general, but more kind of specific, more either general RPG stuff, or Jay talks a lot about his campaign. I babble a lot about my campaign, and we have guests on to babble a lot about their games. Yeah.
I'm never done with my adventures to long-term campaign plot arcs or Rollerjack, so that's a good question. So yeah, it's a good adventure though, and it's a massive combat coming up on if you want to see an old school big time fight with players who are tactically sound. It's Thursday night's going to be good, and then we have fantasy mapping show coming up with List of Fate and Enemy on Friday. Mm-hmm. How has technology changed how you DM and the players play? Hugely.
Well, you started streaming. Yeah.
Yes. Campaign did begin in 1980. Rollerjacks, it never ends. It's a campaign setting. It hasn't ended. It's 42 years, and we're on adventure 958. So it hasn't ended. So I'm going to tell you the number one thing, and this is going to sound childish. We cleaned up our act a lot. And I'm dead serious. You know how guys talk. We learned how to be a little more respectful. And had a couple slips early on, but we really, really have cleaned up our act as far as play goes. But as far as style goes, the game has become a lot more visual since 4 years ago. 3D printing, all. I mean, we've really stepped up our game to really get so that the audience can get a visual enhancement and understand what's going on and say, wow, you know, that's cool terrain and all. So that's the number one thing.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, it's I moved all my gaming online. I haven't streamed it yet, but I moved it all online. So we play using Zoom and Fantasy Grounds and Discord and stuff like that. So and to me, that's been mostly a plus. In the beginning, I was like, we had some issues, and various players had constraints on meaning it had a little laptop with a tiny little screen, and there were some issues back and forth. But we are weeding them out, and I'm actually starting to enjoy playing online that way. It's easy. I have all this stuff at my fingertips, and I'm yeah, really starting to like to play, because you can play with people from anywhere in the world, and you can get together and virtually, and it after a while it kind of feels great. You have all the computer power for presentation, and you can use maps, tokens, and all that stuff. And I have access to all my digital tool where I have all the stat blocks and die rollers and all the campaign notes and stuff like that at my fingertips. And I really enjoy that. That is so cool. I can take notes during live, and I can record the session if I want to, and I get the chat log and stuff like that. So there's a whole bunch of benefits built into it. I can easily just take a screenshot at any given moment, and I get all the what happened and that, and then just jot down a note on top of it, and it saves automatically in there. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that makes it a lot easier. So I don't record what everybody says and stuff, but it's a possibility. So that is kind of cool. If you really want to be hyper focused on what happened and stuff, you can much easier do all that.
That's a balancing act between me worrying about where the cameras are, me DMing and watching the stream chat too. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's not the funnest thing to do in the world, but you have to do it.
But you really mastered that
Well,
part
thank you.
of being both host and DM at the same time, which is kind of super cool.
On the Saturday night specials, I cannot look at chat that much because it's like, you know, and that's when I really appreciate when the mods come, like Alex Antiquitous or Josh or Balfriend. They really help out a lot.
I just laughed at Obsidian Risk. Yeah, it's been I've been gaming in Greyhawk
funny.
for almost 40 years, but for at least over 30 years. But it's been several different game groups, and so it hasn't been persistent, consistent the way Jay's game. It's been like 4 generations of campaigns in that way. I've kept a consistent log of what happened in my games, but it's been with different game groups in different countries even and stuff. So therefore it's been crossover. So
Mike, any changes in yours over the last couple of years?
I've done a little bit of online gaming, but my gaming groups are pretty old school still. And I still draw my maps by hand on graph paper.
That's
fantastic.
nice, man.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
I think research is probably
Go for
what
it.
helps the most. Researching stuff.
Yeah.
Everything at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And note now with the community, and I'm waiting for this and. Oh yeah, that was 2020. That was GaryCon, the first GaryCon we ever did, right? Thank you, Alex. There's a technology thing I did with Nightheart Gaming and Praters, the first ever, and it was a huge audience that day for that discussion.
Before we take any more questions, should I just do the shout outs because I need to leave?
Yeah, that's right, Anna. I forgot. Yeah, so Anna, let's do your shout outs. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm just want to plug the fantasy mapping show because there will be some cool. We will, because we had a guest that I was hoping that we should get on, but that hasn't responded.
Wrong button. I'm trying to put out the shout out for it. My bad.
Yeah. So we had a guest that we were hoping to get, but they haven't responded. So Alyssa and me are both working on Greyhawk projects right now. So me as usual, and so we thought. So I simply said mapping Greyhawk will be the stuff because both Alyssa and me now have Greyhawk stuff to discuss and show. And I will show some new concept ideas and stuff like that I haven't showed to anyone, not even my patrons have seen it yet. So there will be stuff. There will be an Altamira update, and there will be some heraldry and stuff. So they will be on my part, and I know because I've seen some of Alyssa's work on Womtham and stuff. It looks fabulous. So it will be really cool. So we can do that, and so bring your questions and your ideas and stuff, and we will make a deep dive into practical Greyhawk mapping for 2 hours on Friday. And then we have another show that we will talk about on Friday that will be, I think, the best fantasy mapping show ever. By far will be the coolest one ever.
And we're going to save that
exactly
for Friday.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have you come on Friday, and we're going to present what I think will be the coolest fantasy mapping show, period, ever, on Twitch, YouTube, whatever. It will be the coolest ever. So we can't wait, but you will hear the details on that on Friday. Yeah.
Please note the schedule this week. No Legends of Lore Wednesday. That's tonight. My normal game Thursday. Fantasy mapping show Friday. And then that's it. I'm off for a week because I'm away on a family vacation.
But I can also say that I will try and start streaming next week a little bit to fill the gap a bit.
Awesome.
So to speak. We do some map streaming and stuff. So yeah, so I'll definitely try to do some of that. We'll see how well it works, but I will try and figure something out and see if I can cover Wednesday night and a little bit stuff like that to compensate for it a bit.
So Sandwich, does anyone remember the solo 1E adventure that was published? If you do, Revel Jacks wants to know. I can't remember what the name of it was. Yes, Mitch. Thank you so very much. Good to see you. So,
okay, so
Anna's got a bolt, which is rare. So
yeah, exactly. I have
it'll just be Mike and me for the end here.
I have to talk about Ukraine and do a sit rep on Ukraine and stuff. So I'll see you guys on Friday.
Sounds great, and thanks, Anna. Thank you as always for everything. I'll see you Friday night. Mike, what else you got going on, man, in the shout out world?
Well, my Sunday games were just recently did a speed run through the Rift of the Frost Giant Jarl. They're either going to move on to the Hall of the Fire Giant King, or we're going to get TPK. We'll find out.
Awesome.
Otherwise, I got a new Greyhawk repost for you. Here's a new.
Yes, check that out,
NPC.
everyone.
Here's a new old NPC for you.
Oh, awesome. Kafir the Slicer.
Slicer.
A Skulk.
Skulk.
That is great. Fiend Folio are Skulks in 5th edition?
I don't know. I can't remember what I.
Skulks are really nasty, and they're really, really awful individuals. Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah, they are in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great one, man. Great idea. So, very cool, Mike. And so, so the 2 Wednesdays from tonight, this week, you'd be off. You'd be playing, right? Because I'm off next week, but you're not playing next week. Yeah, so you may not be there for the next on the 20.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Okay. So note the other game we have going on is I'm finishing up Vestra and the Helm of Selnor on Thursday. We'll complete that. Vestra has really taunted them. I killed a 96 hit point barbarian with a phantasmal killer from the party in the first week, which was awesome from an illusionist. That was fun, and yeah, that was a blast. And you know, it's been a tough fight, and so it's they're going to it's going to be difficult, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And that'll be, you know, we got Thursday and Friday, then we're off. So, and thanks for all the support. Last night was unbelievable in viewership. Tonight's been great on a Monday night. We got 90 people on. Fantastic. Thank you all for the support. You know, the community's doing really well. Here is, please start getting ready. There it is. Virtual GreyhawkCon 3. It's on tabletop events. You can't register yet, but June 30th it goes live. You can start putting in games you're going to DM. And it doesn't, you know, remember, you don't have to live stream them. You can just do them on Zoom. You can do them on Discord. You can do them on whatever communications program you use. We want to get games out there. So please, you know, if you're going to DM, that would be awesome. The stream, I'm working on the stream lineup. I committed people, of course, myself and Tim on my channel. Anna's going to do something. Greyhawk Reborn is going to have a bunch of adventures. Troller Games is going to have a bunch of stuff. Carlos is committed, and Blue Box is committed for it, and Guild Superior has committed, and that's it so far. So, yeah, who can handle it? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Grape's going to do some stuff too. Grape's going to do some DCC stuff, which is awesome. So that's great. This adventure have to be in. Adventures don't have to be in Greyhawk only, but if you can customize an adventure for Greyhawk, you'll get more people to sign up for it. That's the thing. You really want, being a Greyhawk con live streamed. It's got to be Greyhawk. Have Greyhawk content to be live streamed. Yeah, and you got to be an affiliate, and you have to be a noted. You have to make it to affiliate status in order to even be what's the word? To be highlighted as a streamer. That doesn't mean that if you're an entry streamer, you want to stream your game that you're doing, that's fine. But in order to go on the highlighted stream list, I gotta set it somewhere. And the rule is you need to be, you got to have your affiliate status in order for me to put you on the highlighted stream list. Just it's a goal that everyone should you would want to strive for anyway. There's Virtual Greyhawk Con, first weekend in October. That's coming up. Yep, absolutely. Ron, absolutely. Grey Jammer's good. It's Greyhawk Spelljammer, definitely. Yeah. So, night if I go, if I'm there, yeah, man. If I go, it's still up on the top of the show. The tech side of streaming D&D games. So I should do that. I really should do that in my basement. Go into Jay's basement, show all the stuff I got to do. In fact, Vamp was here Saturday night with me, and I was like showing him a little of the things I had to go through because I walk the desktop, not the cameras, but I walk the desktop all the way down 2 flights of stairs and all. The machine, it's a mess. It's not, but I got to do it. So, Casey to right. Yes, and thanks, man, Chad. Thanks for coming. And Chad got 2 shirts out of it. I got 2 mugs and 2 shirts out of it. So, it was great. So, Mike, what do you got in closing, man? Let me go back to the main screen here.
I already threw out everything I had.
There you go. That's awesome. So, yeah, the goal is to get Casey to write to get a module done and have a tournament or something like that. Night. So I got mine and my son's, which are both 2 Alienwares with 15 USB ports, most of them 3.0s and stuff, customized. If I get a third, mine's here, my son's is over there. If I get a third one, my wife would kill me. So, yeah. New shirt for Virtual Greyhawk Con 3. Good question. Good point. When I get back from vacation, community's going to be voting on the following. Great point, Mitch. Thank you. Here are the 3 custom pieces of artwork donated by Troy Cannibal, done by the artist Dan Smith. And I'm going to let you all vote and decide which one of these is going to be on the Virtual Greyhawk Con logo shirt for this year. Last year, remember, we had Return to the Moat House, which I had customized by, oh my God, my brain just shut off. Great artist. Yeah, so we had that done, and this year, here are the options. And here, number 1, an ode to the cover of Baltron's Beacon. Okay, there it is. No, not RT. Oh my gosh, because he's not streaming right now. It's not popped up on my chat. He's Lady May's fiance. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my brain's off. She stole it. Oh, I have a couple left still, but I don't know what sizes I have. Right, there's Baltron's Beacon Ode 2. Number 2, an ode to the Ghost Tower of Inverness. Remember, they will get colorized in a tone color for the shirt too. So there you go. Okay. Number 3, an ode to Secret of Bone Hill. There. I think the Len tribute, I'm almost pretty sure this is going to win with the Skelter on it, but we'll see. Yeah. So I think by far Bonehill's going to win this, but yeah. I will do a poll somewhere. I got to figure out where I'm going to put it. I may put it on Cannon Fire's site. I may put it, give me some time to think about that. When I get back from vacation, I will do that because I'm not going to be ordering anything while I'm away, vacation wise. So there's Discord, there's Virtual GradCon Discord. And so please, I would love for all of you to participate somehow, whether it's playing in the game. There's a $5 sign up just to cover costs. Oh, what was that, Mike?
Unearthed Arcana.
Yeah, showing that Unearthed Arcana. Leonard O2. DMing, if you're a streamer and you want to participate, just reach out to me, Aetharn. So it's funny because my wife doesn't like D&D, but she loved the artwork on the shirt. Well, Hager, you can check with me. I have a couple left still from last year. I don't know what sizes. I have to go through it, but I do have a couple left. So if you want to reorder one, let me know. All right. And these are almost all gone all the way, by the way, and I can't reorder them because they're out of stock already. The key sizes, so it's ridiculous. So, how does Mike keep his Unearthed Arcana spine intact? Yeah, well,
the secret is I inherited that book from someone else because mine is gone.
Yeah,
I ruined it.
They fell apart right after about 3 weeks. Mine started falling apart. Like, to have them intact after that first printing.
No, that's the only one ebook of mine that I got trashed. All of my others are in great condition.
Yeah, that one was the one that had the glue issue. And they just fell apart. Yeah.
Well, I had a problem with 2 ebooks.
Arthurn, just let me know, man. Hopefully you can do that. Hopefully you can do that from down under, because I'm assuming we'll have our min. And I'm working. Phoenix Iwaki has shown interest in DMing something from the Pacific Rim live stream. I haven't even reached out to Robert Hartley and some of the other ones yet. I mean, I went through my first round of those that participated last year, in the last couple of years. So I know William Henry Dvorak is going to DM something, but he's not going to stream it because he's not streaming anymore. So I know he'll be involved. That's Giant Stop. So we'll have people involved. So, all right. For the giveaway, the one winner will get their choice of one of these two. All right. And one of all these. So we got some good stuff in here. And if you don't have it, the go-to is, of course, Len's Deep Dwarven Delve Elf 3 in reprint. But if you have
That's what I need.
You don't have it?
No.
Mike, I'll check and see if I got a second one. So
it's all right.
You're kicking it worldwide. We have to, man. We got to do it. So please, if you want to participate and assist, play in the game, or just help us out with some things. Sponsors, I'm working on all that. I take care of all that in the streamers' schedules and all. But we want to get rolling in there. And note, 5th edition, Greyhawk Reborn is 5th edition. So that their games fill up fast. So normally, I think Ron's on. They have between 12 and 15 games they normally put in. So, but we're going to have games from Troller Games as well. So, all right, we're going to do the giveaway. Last call, 10 seconds. If you have not signed up, and we'll see who wins. Thank you all for the support, and Mike, thanks for hanging out on a Monday too. This is awesome. I got to figure out who we're raiding into tonight, too. I may raid into Dr. Faust. He was hanging out here. Oh, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. It's nice to be like this. This felt like relaxed tonight, Mike. Right? This felt like a relaxed Legends and Lore for some reason. Ron, Captain Ron. Wow. Fix. All right, Ron. You tell me. You can tell me via Whisper or via on Discord. So grats, man. Yeah, we're going to go into Dr. Faust. He's on. Let's raid into Dr. Faust. All right, because I had him on a Gabbin once. And he was hanging out here until he had to go live stream. All righty, so we'll see you Thursday night, Friday night, and then I'll be off for a week. So, and some other people will hold up the fort. Thank you for a wonderful show tonight, Mike. Thanks a lot, and everyone have a great evening, and see you in a couple days.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Right button. Thank you, Curtis. Good luck, Golden State, for your set up the raid and go into Dr. Faust. He's not showing up, which means he's only hasn't been on for 2 minutes. Give me a second. Huh. Give me 1 second. It's still not showing up. I hate when that happens. All right, here we go. Try it again. Dark up. There it is. The nuances of Twitch. Let's see if we can get over 60. How's that sound on a Monday night? Look at that. 61, 62, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you all. Have a good one. That's nice. What's going on? Turn this off.